Last time on Journey Through the Awesome. Are you seeing these beams of light with these little people who are driving these lights and coming down and greeting you just randomly in the forest? If so, what do they want? Could they just want food? Could they just be hungry? Could they be inviting you to have some chicken at Popeyes with them? Who knows? And now, welcome back to Journey Through the Awesome, everybody. Welcome to the episode that happens when Kwame does not prepare his videos in advance. So I had no episodes planned for today. I just decided to turn on the camera and talk about something that I discovered recently on the internet, which is where I discover all of my interesting and amazing facts to share with the public, the people of the world, people out there who may be interested to know whether or not we have superpowers, which conveniently enough is the topic for today's episode. But before we get into that, if you like this type of content, if you like these videos, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for taking time out of your day, your busy day, to come here and just watch me talk about whatever. Talk about anything that may interest you, anything that may be resting on the precipice of the human mind. You know, I know oftentimes, and all the time really, we don't know each other. I don't know who you are. You don't know who I am. We do not know the skeletons that each of us have in each other's closets, either metaphorically or physically. If you actually have skeletons in your closet, good for you. Skeletons are amazing. They're good ways for us to learn about the biology of human anatomy. Okay? Great job. You deserve a Pulitzer Prize. However, I think for the most part, I think we can still build a bond over this brief and vague connection that we have over this series of what I often like to call tubes. But I'm going to find another way to phrase it because I say that all the time. Let's say that the internet is like a little glass case. You know how sometimes when you buy a fish from the store, you have to keep it in some type of, I don't know what you call it, a fish tank. Fish tank, that's what they call it, fish tank. This is a fish tank, and you are the fish, and I'm the person bringing you the food. The fish food, which is often in a flake form. So imagine this video is fish flakes that I am pouring into your fish bowl. And you, as the fish, are enjoying those delicious fish flakes. Today, those fish flakes are going to be flavored with a little bit of human supernatural powers. BuzzFeed recently reported on people sharing the little quirks that they have that not everybody has in the human body. So this article was written based on a question that was on Ask Reddit about what is a little quirk about your body that you do not think other people have. And now many people responded to this, and a lot of people responded with stuff that, you know, was pretty tame compared to like, oh, I can fly. Oh, I have heat vision. Oh, I have spider webs coming out of my veins. You know, nothing like that. There's nothing too over the top, but a lot of stuff like this that it just reveals to us things that may be long lost lines of human evolution, traits that were picked up from other species of humans that existed thousands of years ago, that may have been passed down to certain members of our generation. And so, without further ado, let's get into some of these weird quirks that people have reported on. The first one is, I am literally hard-headed. I have no frontal sinuses, and where there should be, it's just bone. I never get sinus headaches. This one is very interesting. Now, that does reveal the names of the people who said it because this was from an Ask Reddit post. I'm not going to be telling the names of the people just in case they don't want to be out there. I'm sure they don't care because they're in the article, but for our sake, we won't be saying it. I think this first one would be very convenient for me. Oftentimes, when I think very hard on something that I may not remember, I often get headaches. And when you go in and out of places, when you go into a cold place and you go into a hot place, you get a headache. This would be very convenient to have for that, but this would also be convenient to have if you ever become a professional boxer. You would literally take all those punches to the head and it would not affect you. Well, it probably would, but not to the same extent that it would affect many other boxers in the world today. So, good job for you, Mr. Hardhead. If you were a superhero, we would call you Superhead because of how hard your head is and how many punches it can take. The next one is, I am not colorblind in any of my eyes, but I do see colors differently in both of them. My right eye sees colors more warmly, and a little desaturated, whereas I see more vibrant and cold tones through my left eye. That's really cool. Your eyes are kind of deceiving you in a way. You're seeing rainbows all over the place. You're seeing different types of colors. You're seeing warm colors, cold colors. That's awesome. You go into an art museum and you stare at a painting with the condition that this guy has. You look at it. Well, it's not a condition. It's a condition of living the way that his body is, whatever. You go into an art museum and you look at like a painting by Jackson Pollock or whatever, and you look at that. You look at all the different crazy colors on it, and your eyes would just be going crazy. You would be saying, what is this? Is this even a painting? Is this a portal to another world? Will I step in here like in Super Mario 64 and wind up somewhere with different strobing lights and colors? Maybe. The third one is, when I laugh in a swimming pool, I start to drown. On holiday, I was swimming, and my partner kept making me laugh. The second I start laughing, I sink like a stone. It would be a great way to murder me if he ever decided to do so. Don't give your husband any ideas, random person who commented this. That is interesting. One can only hope that you are not on any type of professional swimming team, because the minute one of your teammates cracks a locker room joke and you start laughing, and then the sharks and all the fish will come and feast on your remains. You will become a steak dinner to all of those animals of the ocean. And that would not be well for anybody. Although I'm not sure off the top of my head what type of professional swimming competition takes place in the actual ocean, but I'm sure that if there was, you would be a tragic victim. A statistic of the amounts of people each year who pass away from laughing while in the water, which probably isn't that many people. Oh well, who knows? Hey, this is a pretty unique ability. Good for you. I can't really think of a time where it would be useful. In fact, I think this may actually pose more harm than good. I don't know if we could ever take you to the beach. How will you enjoy a good day when you're in the water and then all of a sudden you start laughing? You remember that time from school when you did something embarrassing, but it made everybody laugh, and you look back at it now and you laugh because of the cringe, but the cringe is funny to you now as an adult, and then you start just going deeper and deeper and deeper. Number 4, I made it to 30 years old before this was noticed and pointed out to me. I was chugging water at dinner when my husband started laughing and asked, "Why are you doing that?" It turns out that when I swallow any type of liquid, one eyebrow rapidly twitches, but completely uncontrollably. Like my swallow reflex is hardwired to my eyebrow. It is now my party trick. Well, the phrasing of this is very questionable. Don't be immature now. I know you want to be immature, and this is the internet. You have every right to be, but let's try to control ourselves just for a few seconds, okay? Somebody who swallows has the abnormal ability to have their eyebrow twitch every time they swallow. And so every time that happens, it seems like there's something going on in your eye. I'd like to imagine that maybe the muscles in your eyebrow, the nerves in your eye, are being controlled by a small civilization of people who exist, and small because they're very small, as in microscopic, living in the skin beneath your eye. And every time you drink water, that nourishes you and it nourishes them. See, every time this person drinks it doesn't have to be water, some type of liquid, the nutrients from that liquid are funneled through their body, but there is a secret tube that goes past their neck, if I can remember human biology for a second, and goes down here, but then there's a tube that goes through the chest and goes through the neck, up to the head, behind the eyebrow, and then the civilization of microscopic people who live behind the eye get that liquid as well. They are nourished, and every time they are nourished, they start celebrating. They throw parties behind this person's eye. And every time they do, that eyebrow, it's like, oh, that time it was so effective, even my right eye started going crazy. That's all right. That's pretty tame, though. You know, I'm looking for the abilities where we can see people lifting up cars or flying through the air. I want to see the ones that are really, really out there. I want to see the superhero powers. Where can we get some of that? Can I get some telekinesis? Number 5. Sometimes when I laugh or cry, I completely lose motor function in my hands, and they are essentially useless clubs for the next 5 minutes until I calm down. This is apparently a neurological thing associated with narcolepsy, but the thing is, and according to this person, I am not narcoleptic. So You basically lose all function in your hands when you laugh. So it's like, if I could demonstrate, let's say somebody over here tells a funny joke. What's a funny joke? What would be the alternate title for Polar Express if instead of humans it was pandas? The Panda Express. Oh wait, I messed that up. What would be the alternate title for Polar Express if instead of humans it was pandas? I don't know. What would the alternate title be? Panda Express. Ha! Ah ha ha! Ah ha ha ha! Ha! Ah ha ha! Ha ha ha! Ha! What happened to my hands? Again, I don't see any way that this could be useful. This is debilitating. This is sad. This is depressing. You're telling me every time you laugh, you have joy in life? You lose function in your body? What is this trend with the connection between laughing and then our bodies just shutting down? You remember that scene in SpongeBob when Larry the Lobster laughs and then he starts doing all those sit-ups and the combination of the two gives him a six-pack that he used to have, but then he lost because he owned a gym, and the process of capitalism and funding all the taxes and everything made him out of shape, because that's normally what happens, right? I don't know. Does it? All of you capitalists out there, you can tell me. And then in the process of doing the sit-ups and laughing, he got a six-pack, right? That's real. That's logic. That is reality. What is with these people who are laughing and it actually takes away their abilities? It depowers them. It is their kryptonite. That's horrible. That's terrible. I pray for these people. I pray for you, even though I'm not really religious like that. I'm a Buddhist, but this is sad. Okay, somebody needs to make some kind of PSA, a commercial, one of those black and white commercials that often support animal abuse, or no, support anti-animal abuse, and they have that sad song in the background. Let's make one for these people out here who are suffering from anti-laughter syndrome. Laughter body dysfunctioning syndrome. Okay, make one of that. In fact, here it is right now. Donate $5 to 123 No Scam Avenue. Save a laugh. Save a life. There you go. That's sad. Number 6. My kidneys are attached to each other. I found out in a scan it is called a horseshoe kidney, apparently. Okay. So if you get kidney cancer, you get it in both kidneys. That's all I can think of. That's bad. That's terrible. Oh, I'm so sorry. I can vomit at any time just with the power of my mind. When I was a kid, if I did not get my way, regardless of where I was, I would just start vomiting. One day my grandma slapped the expletive, this is a family-friendly show, out of me in a Kmart, and I never did it again. Well, that is, I used to know this person who could willingly make themselves farts, like just out of will. Like sometimes, in order for you to pass gas to farts, different kinds of food and different kinds of activities activate flatulence, right? So in a way, you can make yourself farts anytime, but this guy could make himself farts anytime, any day, any month, whatever second it was. He was always willing to just fart anytime. And it was gross. It was disgusting. I never wanted to hang out with him. But it was an extraordinary ability. This seems like it would be very inconvenient for anybody hanging out with this person. Okay? He says here, or they, I don't know who it is, they say here that their grandma, every time they were out with their grandma, they did not get their way, they would start vomiting. Yeah, that's not something that I would really praise, or something that I would talk about in a celebratory fashion. That seems like something that would be more of a curse than a blessing, like many of these. Why? So, if you just start vomiting and making yourself vomit, does that mean that, and you can do it at any time, like even after you vomited the first time, you just keep, does that mean that every time you do it, and you do it like, say, 5 to 10 times, how much weight would you be losing? I mean, you would be losing so many nutrients, so many food, so much food, that's grammar, from your digestive system that you would just become a stick. You keep vomiting, you become so thin and so small, you are officially a skeleton at that point. You lose so much, and then you would just die. I have chunks of metal that got embedded into my body, which slowly worked their way out over time. I got one to pop out of my hand last night. So, how did they get embedded? How? It just says they were embedded into his body, or their body. What? So, did they eat metal? Did they eat some, like a fork or a spoon? And then it's going to, what was the process in which the metal entered your body? What happened there? I don't understand. And why is it coming out through your hands? Where else would it come out? Would it come out through your ears? Through your eye? Oh. Okay, so I think I just found the best ability out of all of these. There's somebody here who says they have super smell. He says he can diagnose people. Low blood sugar diabetes smells like rotten chemical cleaner. High blood sugar smells like heated PLA filaments. This person is an X-Men. This person could work for the Department of Health of any nation. They could go around and they could identify people who are suffering from diabetes. This would be the greatest doctor in the world. This is amazing. So we finally found something that seems like an actual superpower. This guy right here who's saying, I have got super smell, and they can identify people with diseases, or it looks like here, pregnancy has this sweet musty smell to it, like the mildest plum or nectarine. I've gotten in some very awkward situations when I asked when someone was due and they didn't know they were pregnant yet. If someone has a cold, pneumonia, gastrointestinal issues, infection, or any other ailments, and I can smell it, it's bacterial. If I cannot smell the illness, it is viral, which made COVID extra freaky. Okay, so they can't smell viral illnesses, but they can only smell bacterial illnesses. That is still extraordinary. Somebody recruit this person to some kind of covert government agency, and then you can go around in places where there may be high reports of diseases, and you can identify, hey, you have a disease. Come, get treatment immediately. This would be the amazing opportunity for this person to put on their job application. If it's any type of medical agency, medical organization, you don't even have to go to medical school. You are medicine. Well, not really, but you are the pathway to someone to identify the illness that will lead them to hopefully access medicine if they have money and resources and the opportunity to do so. This is still amazing. I think that learning about the things that some people's bodies can do can show us really the powers that we have within. It can reveal to us how many of us in this world have the mutant X gene, and how many of us are just boring people who just go in our day-to-day lives with 2 attached earlobes and the power to laugh at will without putting our lives at risk, and not have metal that comes out of any crevices or any other areas of our body. The first meeting of an unlikely fan club. Okay, everybody, we are here at the 120th annual meeting of the 5 o'clock Shadow fan club. Okay, Marcus, I see you with your 5 o'clock shadow right there. Don't shave that. Don't let it grow too long. Oh, John, I see you over there. That nice 5 o'clock shadow, that looks really good. It looks like the makings of a beard, but you're not quite at the point where you have a beard yet. That's exactly what we're looking for. You filled out the job application really great. Okay, I see a nice one there, nice one there. Naomi, you really need to work on yours, okay? I know you're a woman, but you just need to get that facial hair going, okay? You need to really get it started. You're kind of being slow, but I know you'll get there. That is not a 5 o'clock shadow, Marquise. That is a 12 o'clock shadow. Okay, there's way too much hair on that chin. This club was founded on the principles of the 5 o'clock shadow. Okay, you can't just go around and just grow a beard. You just can't. That is illegal. In this club, that is illegal. And it's punishable by death. Hey man, chill, it's not that serious. It's not even that long of a beard. We have had enough of your lies, Marquise. Ah!